Are you thinking about buying a house or apartment in 2025? Are you wondering about what is involved in the process? Hopefully this video will give you a very good steer as to what you can expect, because I'm going to explain it to you in plain English. The first step is to find the right property for you and your particular circumstances. Once you've found the property that you want and it fits into your budget, you'll need to let the auctioneer and the lender know who your solicitor is, who's acting for you. This will allow the auctioneer to send out the sales advice note to both solicitors, that is, the solicitor for the vendor and the solicitor acting for you if you're the purchaser. This sales advice note will set out the basic terms of the transaction. These basic terms will include the price, the vendor, the purchaser, any contents that might be included, the expected closing date, and the solicitors who are acting for both vendor and purchaser. You, as the purchaser, will be expected to pay a booking deposit to the auctioneer, which will secure the property. This deposit is refundable and is not to be confused with the contract deposit. Before paying your booking deposit, you should also consider the overall financing of the transaction and ensure that you consider certain outlays such as stamp duty and property registration authority fees and other outlays that will be necessary. Once the sales advice note is issued by the auctioneer, the vendor solicitor will draw up a contract and prepare the copy title documents, which will be sent to your solicitor for his or her review and consideration. Your solicitor will then raise pre-contract inquiries about any issues which arise, such as planning permission, building regulations, local property tax, sewerage, water supply, the road abutting the property being in charge of the local authority, and so on. It is only when your solicitor has received satisfactory replies to these inquiries that you will be asked to sign the contract and pay the balance of the deposit, assuming you have finance in place and not just approval in principle. This balance of the deposit will be 10% of the purchase price, less any booking deposit that you've paid. For example, let's say you're buying a house for €250,000. That's pretty cheap, but we'll just take that for the sake of example. 10% of this purchase price is €25,000, so €25,000 is the contract deposit. You subtract whatever booking deposit you paid to the auctioneer, usually €5,000 or €6,000, and this is the sum due on signing the contract. Meanwhile, prior to this point, you should have ensured that the loan offer is issued by your lender and a loan pack goes to your solicitor. This is part of the process of once you've acquired or obtained a loan offer from a lender. The lender will send out the loan pack and the security documents to your solicitor. You'd also be well advised to have a structural survey of the property carried out if it is a second-hand property, because there's no use finding problems with the property after you've signed a contract. If it's a second-hand property, you buy it in the condition you find it, and the principle of caveat emptor applies. That means let the buyer beware. So it is vital for you as purchaser to ascertain what condition the house is actually in. Once you sign the contracts in duplicate and your solicitor returns them to the vendor solicitor, a binding contract will come into existence when the vendor signs the contracts and returns one part to your solicitor. At that point, you move towards completion of the transaction. This will mainly involve you checking that the lender has everything they need to allow them to release the loan check to your solicitor for completion of the sale. Things that hold up this check release or funds release nowadays, because it's electronic funds transfer, include failure to ensure that life assurance is in place by you and the benefit is assigned to the lender, failure to put home insurance in place, and failure to submit a completed direct debit mandate. These three things are common problems in relation to funds release, and they are things that, if they are outstanding, any of them are outstanding, the funds simply will not be released by the bank. As closing date approaches then, Your solicitor will draw down the loan from the lender, ask you for your financial contribution, which will be the balance. This will include the balance of the purchase price and outlays such as stamp duty, property registration authority fees and other outlays. The solicitor will probably leave loan drawdown as late as possible because you will be paying interest from the date of drawdown, and your solicitor should be anxious to ensure that you do not pay unnecessary interest on your loan by drawing down the funds too early. On closing day, you get the keys of your new house and your solicitor transfers the purchase price to the vendor solicitor and authorises release of those funds, provided you are authorised to pick up the keys from the estate agent. So this happens contemporaneously. The vendor solicitor will authorise release of the keys and the purchaser solicitor will authorise release of the funds, the balance of the purchase price, and it is advisable to carry out a pre-closing inspection before closing day. After the sale completes, your solicitor will submit the deed of transfer, the mortgage deed or mortgage charge or the charge, and some other forms to the Property Registration Authority to have you registered as the new owner of the property and to register the bank's security for their loan. Once that's completed, your solicitor will send in the title documents together with his or her certificate of title to the lender, and you start paying off the mortgage and enjoying the benefit of your new home. Obviously, if there's no lender involved and you're a cash buyer, you may get the title documents from your solicitor or leave them with him or her for safekeeping. By the way, if you are buying in Ireland from abroad, you will need to get a PPS number in order to allow you to pay your stamp duty and account for any letting income. You will find a free report on my website businessandlegal.ie about the whole process of buying or selling a property in Ireland. It's completely free. You just enter your email address and it'll be sent straight to your email inbox. So that's businessandlegal.ie. And I'll leave a link underneath this video on my YouTube channel, but it's on my website businessandlegal.ie. Hope you find this video useful. If you do, I'd appreciate if you hit the thumbs up button down below. You might consider also sharing it with somebody who'd be interested and subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.